Hello, everyone. It's Sybil Starr. I'm here to give the astrology forecast for the Sagittarius full moon lunar eclipse. We are just starting eclipse season, and eclipse seasons are times of great change, and lunar eclipses are impact our personal lives and our emotional bodies, whereas solar eclipse really are more events in the outer world, although lunar eclipses can also impact the outer world. And so this lunar eclipse occurs on, it's a Sagittarius full moon lunar eclipse, and it's actually also a super moon, and it's a total eclipse, so it's completely darkened. And it occurs on May 26th at 5 degrees, 25 minutes of Sagittarius at 4:13 a.m. Pacific. And it is visible on the west coast of the USA. Well, it's actually visible through large parts of North America, the western half. But on the west coast, it's actually very visible. The Pacific Ocean, Australia, New Zealand, and eastern China and Asia. And full moon lunar eclipses are also often called blood moons because they appear to be red. And so what is an eclipse? What is a lunar eclipse? Well, what it actually is when the shadow of the sun is at a full moon. So the moon is reflecting the full light of the sun because, the moon has no light of her own. But the shadow of the earth comes between the sun and the moon and blocks the light that is reflected off of the moon by the sun. And it actually impacts the electromagnetic field, and solar flares are much stronger. Many of our ancient people would go inside during an eclipse because they felt how the earth responded. The field changes for about 14 minutes, and this eclipse, it lasts about 14 minutes. And solar and lunar eclipses, what they do is they bring something to light that has been hidden. And it's also about the release of old emotional patterns and harbingers of change. It impacts mostly our personal relationships, but like I said, we can also see things happen in the outer world during one. Now, the Sabian symbol for this is very interesting, and it is a game of cricket. And it's like the game of life. I feel like this is kind of some insight into to know that there are many games that are played here. And games have rules, and maybe what comes to light is that someone is not playing by the rules. And let's say the rules are actually our agreements, what we agree to be okay or not okay. And sometimes, and so we may find this happening in the public world and also possibly in our relationships. And the other thing is, cricket itself is a game of etiquette. And so it really says it's really more important how we treat each other than the rules of the game. That's really more important. That is the rule of the game. The main rule is how we treat each other. Okay. And Sagittarius is about a quest for the truth. So I feel like this lunar eclipse is very much about truth. We're all seeking truth, and we're finding that there's many versions of the truth. And the thing to understand is that the shadow side of Sagittarius is about fundamentalism, is that there is one truth and this truth fits everyone. But that's not the Sagittarian journey. That's the quest for truth, and realizing as we grow and different pieces, we uncover different pieces of the deeper truth, the truth becomes bigger. And just like, with Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice in Egyptian cosmology, her teaching is that there is a personal truth and a cosmic truth. And our personal truth is really about the authenticity of self. And we might find in this time things come to light of truths about ourselves that we did not see, and that we have changed, and that our truth has changed. What used to be really had truth and meaning for us, is different than it used to be, and that we have changed. Okay. And Sagittarius is about our beliefs, and recognizing that beliefs and truth are not always the same thing. Like I said, there is personal truth, which is really about the authenticity of soul and what aligns as truth for you in that way, versus a cosmic truth. And an example of a cosmic truth is, the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And there are many cosmic laws, and how we treat Mother Earth. The main ones are how we treat ourselves, how we treat Creator, how we treat each other, how we treat Mother Earth, and respect for that. So I feel like in this lunar eclipse, which has the sun opposite Gemini, and they're both square Jupiter in Pisces. And, I didn't actually show you the chart, and I think I will do that now. Okay, I'm going to show you the chart of what we're actually looking at. All right, so here is the Sagittarius lunar eclipse that occurs at 4:13 a.m. So we can see here that the sun, here's the sun at 25 degrees of Gemini. It's opposed to the moon at 5 degrees for 25 minutes of Sagittarius, okay? And it is the moon, the light of the moon, well, the light of the sun that's reflected off the moon that will be eclipsed, okay? And this is in a square to Jupiter. I don't know if you can see that, but Jupiter's at 1 degree of Pisces right now. And so that's called a T-square. And that the square point is kind of the challenge and the focal point. So it's like the sun and the moon need to find balance and integration, and then they can focus on integrating Jupiter. Okay. Another piece here that I'm going to be talking about, of course, is the Uranus-Saturn square. That's happening. And I am going to be talking about Jupiter and Pisces because it's going to be here for 2.5 months and what that actually means. And then the other piece is there is a Venus-Mercury conjunction here in 24 degrees of Gemini, that's in a square to Neptune and Pallas Athene, and we'll be talking about what that means. But I just kind of wanted to give you the lay of the land visually before I went any further. Okay, all right. So now back to the what the meaning of this is, which is really what's most important. And so this is a South Node lunar eclipse. And the South Node lunar eclipse is about releasing, and it's about releasing old emotional patterns. And in Sagittarius, it's about releasing old stories, old beliefs that no longer serve us. And it seems to me what I'm seeing here and now that is really showing up in so many ways. It's about releasing the stories of separation. And what may come to light is who is served by that us versus them mentality. Any place where there's an us versus them, know that there is someone that is being served by that. Those that, those in power, they are not served by people being united. And that's what I feel like this is about unity consciousness. That Jupiter in Pisces is so much about coming together and unity consciousness, and recognizing that we are diverse, but we do not have to be separate. And respect for diversity of ideas, of all kinds of ways of perceiving the world. Each one of us is a face of Creator, and Creator has come, and this Earth School is about all of the different infinite perspectives that of the faces of Creator that each of us wear, and perceive the world in that way. And so it's about a unity of heart, knowing that we love each other and that we are all connected, but that we do have different paths. Each one of us has a different path to walk. I'm going to share something else with you that I found incredibly helpful. Okay. Because I've been really struggling with this, respecting other people's opinions, because that's what it's about, respecting others' beliefs. And it says, there are many paths to light. Allow others to follow their own path. Always remember that your own truth is not the ultimate truth. Keep an open mind and allow everyone to experience their lessons in the way they have signed up for. When you pull someone from their own path, you create unnecessary struggles for that person, as they now have to experience something else that will deliver the same lesson energy their soul needs. This then creates karma for you. So when you share your beliefs, ensure that you do it without attaching yourself to the idea of convincing another of your truth. So I feel like this is just a really big teaching that we are having right now. It is this respect for others' choices, even if we don't understand them, recognizing that we do not know their life path, we do not know their contracts, what they've come to learn, and what choices they're making to learn those teachings and those lessons for their own soul growth. So to step back, and I have a friend, and we have a saying, it's about staying in my own lane. You know, I stay in my own lane and respect her choices, even if I don't always understand them. And that brings us to that place of unity where we can be united. And as we know, it is united we rise, divided we fall. And this is a time of coming together, of unity. And how we treat each other is what matters most. Even when, especially in the midst of diversity. That's what respecting diversity is about, is how we treat each other, recognizing that there are differences and we're not all going to be on the same page. And the other piece of this, I feel like it is about releasing the ideas about how we think the world should be, which then allows us to be with what is. And when we are with what is, it allows us to let the future unfold. And I feel like there's an amazing future that is wanting to unfold when we can release these old stories of separation. Okay. And actually, to me, that was kind of the fall, when we felt like we became separated from Creator, but we're now on the return journey. And one of the first places to start is with each other. Okay. Mercury is also retrograde from May 29th to June 22nd. And it is square Neptune the whole time. Well, first off, Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. That's kind of the old terminology, but it's very much associated with Gemini. And so we can kind of expect the communication delays and miscommunications and computer issues and all of those kinds of things may show up for us. And Mercury goes retrograde around 24 degrees of Gemini, 24 to 16. Okay, but so you just have to really know where in what house it falls in, or if it makes any aspects to your planets, to see how intense this will be for you. But to know that Mercury goes retrograde every 3 times a year for 3 weeks at a time, and it becomes retrograde when we've gotten ahead of ourselves, and Spirit is saying, slow down. Okay, rethink this. There's something you need to redo. There's some information you don't have, and so it's a good time. It's not a good time to sign contracts. It's not a good time to move forward in a big way, unless you already have plans in motion. Of course you can go through with them, but it's not a good time to start something. But squaring Neptune, I feel like what this is saying, because Mercury is the mind and Neptune is one of the aspects of deep intuition and inner knowing. This is a time where it's a time to meditate, to slow down, and to make a space to listen, because Spirit wants to talk. Well, Spirit wants to talk to us and wants us all to take that time to listen. So it's important to meditate, to make a space to hear what is coming through, and to recognize that the real truth, the deepest truth within us, lives in our hearts and is connected to our intuition. Our intuition it's about the development of our inner GPS, and to understand that we always grow from the inside out. And those teachings come from our heart. And sometimes things may be a little foggy when Neptune is around, and so that's why it's kind of like learning how to navigate your life with the lights turned off. Okay, eventually you bump into a few things initially. So that's what this time is like for everyone, is to know that the left brain is not functioning as well, because there's an integration of the right and left brain. Okay, and listening to that inner guidance. Okay, now the other thing that is going on that is so important, of course, is the Uranus-Saturn square. Well, I want to go back to Mercury square Neptune, because I feel like the other piece that it is saying is that the nature of our understanding of the nature of reality is changing. And this Mercury retrograde piece, I feel like that's the other piece of it, is helping us understand that when we change our beliefs, that means, which is related to our perceptions, which is related to our mind. When we change our minds, our world can change. When we understand that the world is not exactly as we've always believed it to be, it's much bigger. And we are in the process of shifting from a consensus reality based in Newtonian physics into quantum physics. And people are starting to understand this. And this Uranus-Saturn square that is going on, and is going on all of 2021. They're just doing a dance together. It's the old versus the new. And and so there's several things I want to say about this. Okay, first off, I do want to say Saturn went retrograde on May 23rd. It's going to be retrograde from May 23rd to October 10th. And I often describe Saturn as, so Saturn is about structure, Saturn is about following the rules, Saturn is about restriction. Saturn's about manifestation. It's about following the rules of manifestation, and it's about cause and effect. And it rules the structures of our lives. But it's without Saturn, everything is a dream. It's what matter. It's one of the teachers of manifesting here in the physical world of matter. Okay. And going retrograde for 5 months, it often says that your plans need to be revised. What I say is, okay, it's like Saturn is often like going and buying something from IKEA. It's a table. You bring it home, you say, oh, I know how to do this. I'm going to put this together. And you do, and of course it's wrong. It says stop, read the instructions. What I'm going to recommend is that any plans right now, anything you do, is to read the instructions first. That to take it carefully, and to know that all along the way you may have to revise your plans for the next 5 years to get it in right alignment. So it's a little slower process. It slows things down. Saturn goes retrograde 5 months of the year, every year. And so it's not saying to not start anything, to not do anything, but it's just saying when Saturn is retrograde, things you might need to do a little more work to keep them in alignment, and you may need to go back and read the instructions again, and to know that it's kind of like Mother May I, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Or let's say it this way. Well, no, I'm going to say it that way. And then it's transiting in a square to Uranus this whole year. And Uranus is also about manifestation, but Uranus is about manifesting on the quantum, in the quantum field. And it's about what we're going to call magic, ceremonial magic, that there's like a recipe. Like first it has to be created in the quantum field, and then you bring it down into physical reality. And a big piece of this is the role of intention. Okay, I'm going to backtrack here for just a minute, then we'll go into, I'll talk more about the quantum field. But I want to talk more about the challenge, okay? So the challenge of this, because it's a square and it's always a square, you know, a square is always a challenge, okay? But it's a challenge that is part of the creative process. It's a dynamic energy. And so, Saturn is restriction, so it can bring up fear, and we know, and Uranus is about breakdown, okay? And so Saturn is about the structures that we have created, and in this square, what I'm seeing, and I know that it's true, there is fear is coming up. So there's a desire to hold on to the old structures because it's all we know. But these structures are breaking down and they can't hold us anymore. And so Uranus says surrender to the chaos. You know, it's like because when we surrender to that chaos, to the to what can be instead of just what is, something new can be born, which actually serves our purposes better. You know, as they say, necessity is the mother of invention. But when we're holding on so tight to the old, the new can't come in. You know, it's going to eventually, but it makes the process much harder. You know, as they say, it's not change that is painful, it's resistance to change. And so that's what I'm seeing. I feel like this is a big energy in the field, but because Uranus is shaking us out of our comfort zone, and it's also about, like I said, the quantum field. As it shakes us out of our comfort zone, we start to, I'm going to say, remember how to create in the quantum field, that we are the quantum field. I mean, science is just becoming so clear about this, that we are creating this world in every moment, with every thought, every choice we make, every thought we have, and especially with what we say. You know, words are a vibration. And when you put it out there, it's much more powerful when you speak it. And so that's why it's so important to speak what you want. And it's important to remember in the quantum field, intention is everything. And so where we focus our energy is what we create. And so it's important to look around in your world and see what's happening. And so where are you, and to see where you're focusing your energy so that you can change it. It's not about judging yourself. It's about recognizing how to work with the energy and to create what you want. I just went to an incredible workshop with a man named Freddie Silva. Some of you may know him. And it was called A Course in Temple Making. And it was in Sedona, Arizona, which of course has incredible vortexes and energy all around. And what this course was about, it was you know, he is also, you know, a teacher he's a student of ancient mysteries and earth energies, and how the earth, you know, the ley lines, the magnetic fields, electromagnetic fields, how they work, and how to have them, you know, use them to our own, into service for us to create. And because they're not, you know, they're not good or bad, they just are, but we can use them depending on our vibration and our frequency. And so we created, and he explained, you know, the sacred geometry is not just 3D, that when it is activated, it becomes 3D, and we're in that field, and each geometric pattern has a frequency, and something that it is aligned with and attunes with. And just for example, the pentagram is really aligned and attuned with the feminine, with the divine feminine, with the goddess, with healing, with magic, you know, all of those things. And so he showed us with the dowsing rods, the copper dowsing rods, you know, the flow of the energy that was in the circle that we were creating, and the power of our intention. When we ask the energy to move, that we wanted, let's say, a certain flow of energy within this field, all we had to do was ask. And to just verbalize it, to speak it out loud, and all of us focus on that intention. And we saw with the dowsing rods, the energy responded. These were energy lines that were coursing through that. And so it really showed me the power of intention and focused intention, and especially group intention, but even our own. And so it's that putting a prayer in motion and setting an intention. And it's the combination of ancient wisdom combined with earth energies and magic, and to recognize that we are creating all the time. So let's create what we want, not what we don't want. So where we focus our energies, what we think, what we say, and how we feel impacts the field, because we are the field. And the last thing I want to talk about is Jupiter in Pisces. Jupiter's going to be there from May 13th to July 28th. Jupiter is always about the big picture. And in Pisces, it's that we are energy beings and we are all one. And it is about compassion, that we are all in this earth school together, that there are other dimensions that are here with us, that are helping us all make this shift. As we know, Mother Earth is making this shift and we are moving with her. This is a time to call in your spirit guide, your guardian angels, everyone in the world of the invisible, because they're here to help us make this shift and to help you. And it is so much about having faith in the future, for you never know what tomorrow will bring. And just like the caterpillar, while it's in the chrysalis, does not know, they will soon emerge from the darkness as a beautiful butterfly. And I have one more to share with you here, because I want to. It says, here's the caterpillar, today, tomorrow. Don't lose hope. You never know what tomorrow will bring. And I want to end on that, because there is so much amazement that is coming for us, but it really takes a shift in perception, and it takes to know that we are all one, and that we are united, and to not let those who are benefited by division keep us divided. All right. So if you like this video, please subscribe, and you can find me on SibylStar.com. That's SIBYLSTAR.com. All right. Thank you so much.